I got a question for you. Do you know what it's like to own a really nice sports car or just a car that you classify as really nice? And when I think about that, I think it's something that tends to be a little bit out of reach for somebody income-wise. So immediately you think of Lamborghini, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Rolls-Royce, maybe some other ones that come to mind. And when you think about that, and you think of your current vehicle, an average way of thinking is like, oh, I can only dream to have that, or that's on my dream list. That's what I can't wait to manifest that, or I don't know if I can have that, because you think you're not good enough for that, or you think that it would take you so long to get there, right? You have all these underlying thoughts that come to your mind, and the most important thing you have to understand is you can achieve that, right? And even if it is putting yourself in not a financial position where you just can't afford anything whatsoever, I think that's a big mistake that a lot of younger people especially tend to make. But if you're in a position and you're like, I'd love to have a Lamborghini. I'd love to have a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari. The first step to making that happen is, of course, to visualize. But secondly, it is simply to see what the financing options are. What would something like that cost you on a month-to-month basis? Would it totally put you out of the hole? See, that's the thing. We want these things, but a lot of times we don't even think to understand what it takes to achieve that. We just think you got to be rich and famous to have it. It's not the case. Listen, I got buddies of mine. They make a decent amount of money. And they have some of these cars. They have some nice watches and the Rolexes and things like this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't just apply to cars. This applies to many things that tend to be, quote unquote, valuable in society. So you need to understand, find out what the financing options are. And believe it or not, some of you might already be there, or you might be pretty doggone close. And that's the thing. You have to exert yourself a little bit more than what you're used to. Get uncomfortable a little bit, as long as you're still making it through, especially if you're single. My goodness, if you're single and you have enough of, where you're paying the bills and you're just spending money each month on different odds and ends, but you're driving a car that could be way better than what it is, and your dream is to simply have a really nice car, do it. What's holding you back? You want to wait to buy it all out? I mean, that's up to you, but I'm trying to get through and have you understand the fact that you would put yourself and invest yourself into driving a Lamborghini. You put yourself in a whole new crowd, a whole new atmosphere. Same thing with the Rolex. You put yourself in a whole new game. People see, same with the McLaren. People see exactly what it is that you have on, what you wear, what you drive, and they judge you for that. They do. Listen, I drive a Mini Cooper. I got that car because I like Mini Coopers. I enjoy it. I don't really plan on getting rid of it. My mind might change, but I enjoy it. Do I realize driving a Mini Cooper with what I do, people look at that differently compared to if I drive a nice Tesla or a Lamborghini? Of course, I get that, right? It's also humbling for me to do that, but I realize, dude, I totally want to get a nice car. Because for me personally, that adds more fuel to my fire, and it levels you up in a whole different realm compared to driving like a Mini Cooper. You can easily buy a Mini Cooper, a used one, under $10,000, right? Or maybe between 10 and 15. But if you're talking about a Lamborghini or a Tesla, and I'm talking about a Tesla that's souped up, you're looking at 70, 80 grand above. When I look at Tesla, I think a Roadster. You're looking 200, 300 grand right there. And that's for the base model. Same thing with Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces. So it's if you want to play in the big leagues, you got to invest as if you're already in the big leagues. And then watch what your life does, because then you start attracting so many things. People that have a Lamborghini, people that have a Rolex, Now they can have conversations with people that already are in that arena. Because if you're driving around in a Mini Cooper or another car like a Toyota, Dodge, or something like that, all due respect to that, then you'll continue to attract those kinds of people. And then when you're in a really nice sports car, you will attract people from all different sorts of life in various ways. And you are like a magnet for that, especially to my dudes. Watch the women that come. But be cautious of gold diggers. Okay, that's a whole nother video. So what I'm trying to have you understand is, if your dream is to have some nice clothes or to have some nice items, make sure for one, you're not putting your family at like some kind of tight spot to where you can't like pay your bills, okay? Make sure your bills are paid. Maybe you gotta cut out some subscriptions to make that happen. But once you do that, just watch the amount of attraction that comes into your life. You'll be like a magnet in no time. So anyways, again, find out what it is that you want. And I encourage you, even if it might seem a little far-fetched or you know for a fact you can't do it right now, just find out. Find out what it takes to get there. And then find out what you need to do to make that money, to earn that money, to attract that money, to get what you desire.